Hey everybody, welcome. If I look the same as I did in another video, it's because I'm trying to get a couple done here. And so anyway, I've got some coffee with me yet. It's still the morning. It's December 22nd. I'm actually off work. It's a Friday, but I'm off work for the holiday weekend, which is great. And so I'm trying to get some videos done that I've wanted to for quite a while. Um, Today's topic is a complete ripoff of a topic from the UK Connection series on the Sea of Tranquility channel. I cannot recommend that one enough. If you're a fan of hard rock, heavy metal, prog rock, jazz fusion, classic rock, all this great stuff, go check out Sea of Tranquility. Pete Pardo's been in music journalism for years and years. The output on that channel is prolific, and every couple of weeks, he and a couple of buddies from across the pond get together and they do different topics: album rankings, song rankings, top two, bottom two, and wildcard. And that's what this is. And I saw them do this one within the last month or two, and it is my top two favorite Ozzy Osbourne records. And we're talking just studio output here. Bottom two Ozzy Osbourne records, and a wild card. Now the wild card could be a live album. It could be the anything that's out there really for availability. You know, there are a lot less rules on the wild card. So they traditionally start it with the top two and then the bottom two and then do the wild card. So I think that's what I'm going to do as well. My number two Ozzy Osbourne album, and this will probably surprise no one, and it's probably a lot of yours, is Diary of a Madman. This is a recent reissue. I'm not sure if this was originally from the box set that just came out, the complete recordings. I'm normally not a fan of colored vinyl, but I bought this because I did not have Diary on vinyl. The CD, the rest of what you're going to see are all on compact disc, actually, but the CD I have of this is one of those 90s reissues with the picture about that big, and the rest was colored in the background. And, you know, there was purples and greens and blues and all that. And if you're an Ozzy fan, you probably remember what I was talking about. So anyway, Diary of a Madman, the second and final Randy Rhoads record with him. I think this one steps all over Blizzard of Oz, and that may be sacrilege to say, but the musicianship on here is even better. Ozzy's singing is better on here. Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer, Little Dolls, Tonight, SATO, Diary of a Madman. So not as long as the first one, only 8 songs here, but my goodness, Ozzy and the band were on fire. They were definitely on an upward trajectory at this point. Randy's guitar playing was off the charts. And so anyway, you know, if you know about this album, then if you're an Ozzy fan, you know about this. So this is my number two Ozzy album. I have loved this one since I got into music. This was not my first Ozzy record, but I remember getting the cassette tape for Christmas. Oh, I don't know how many years, you know, back in the 90s, years and years ago. And so this is just a fantastic record. I can't recommend it highly enough. If this was your number one record, I wouldn't argue with it. My number one Ozzy album, however, is the one that really got me. I think it was the second Ozzy CD I had, and so this is not the original CD. I had lent that to a friend, and who the friend never gave it back, so I had to get a new one. And this is the early 2000s remasters, 2002, and it's No More Tears. What a mammoth album No More Tears is. Ozzy has said that he hasn't made a Sgt. Pepper's record yet. Well, in my opinion, this was it. He was in his early 40s. His vocals were at their peak. He had a killer band featuring Randy Castillo on drums, Mike Inez on bass, and Zakk Wylde on guitar. This was Zakk's second record with Ozzy. Mr. Tinker Train, I Don't Want to Change the World, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Desire, No More Tears, Sin, Hellraiser, Time After Time, Zombie Stomp, AVH, Road to Nowhere. CD bonus tracks on this one are Don't Blame Me and Party with the Animals. You can see a good shot of Ozzy from the No More Tours tour, which, because they originally thought he was going to have to retire after this due to health reasons. Well, that took another 30 years. It's finally happened. He's retired from touring because of Parkinson's. This is a high water mark, not just for Ozzy, but for all of heavy metal, I think. Um, he still had it in droves here. Lemmy from Motorhead co-wrote 4 songs, including Hellraiser and Mama, I'm Coming Home. So, of course, the lyrics are going to be brilliant on here, too. Ozzy's an underrated singer and musician, though. You know, he can't really play any instruments so much, but he has a great idea of what he wants. And so, No More Tears, 1991, is, to me, the definitive Ozzy Osbourne album. I'm not going to sit and fight and argue over it. You may agree with me. You may hate it. It may be somewhere down the line for you. I don't know. But anyway, so number 2, Diary of a Madman. Number 1, No More Tears. And it's hard to argue the musicianship from any of those. Now, bottom 2 were actually even easier for me than to pick the top 2. And so bottom 2, normally, I only present physical media that I have. I only talk about albums that I have. I couldn't buy these. To me, and I respect Ozzy Osbourne so much, his music between Sabbath and his solo career have played a huge part in my listening. He's put out some timeless music. Timeless, though, Ordinary Man and Patient Number 9 are not. I printed them off so you could see if you've not heard of them. This to me is a hard rock album. It's not a metal album. Same really with Patient Number 9. Now, Patient Number 9, it should work, right? It's got Eric Clapton on a song. It's got Tony Iommi on a couple songs. It has Jeff Beck on the title track. Zakk Wylde is back on here. But what these suffer from, for me, is the production, first of all. Andrew Watt, who produces Post Malone, if you know what I'm talking about. I have nothing against Posty and his music. It's not for me. I don't care. But the slick production on here, the overly digitized vocals on here, the songs are... This pains me to say, but even the Iommi songs, you go, sort of at best. There's not one memorable song between these 2 albums for me. Under the Graveyard was a single off Ordinary Man. It was all right. The title track to Patient Number 9, not bad. But considering it's Ozzy Osbourne and Jeff Beck, I wanted more. I wanted more. So I don't own either of these. I've listened to them. I've streamed them. And that's part of why I use streaming, is to sample what I would like to buy. I believe I use streaming in the proper way. And if all you do is stream, well, you're missing out on some great stuff. But anyway, so those are my bottom 2. Ordinary Man from a few years ago, and then Patient Number 9, more recent. Gosh, just take them or leave them. They do nothing for me. And it's not a slam against Ozzy as a person or as an artist. They're just not for me. And if they're for you, great. If you have them, if those are your favorite Ozzy records, good for you. I'm not going to sit and argue and tell you what to listen to and what not to. Wildcard, I'm going to sort of pull a little... Well, no, I'm not going to pull it. Here's my Wildcard. Because this is actually one of my favorite Ozzy CDs as well. I don't think it's on vinyl other than that box set, if it even was. 2010, Ozzy came roaring back with Scream. I love the sort of the title track, Let Me Hear You Scream. The opening, Let It Die, is just brutal. Digging Me Down and Latimer's Mercy, heavy songs. Crucify is good on here. Soul Sucker is good. This album caught some flack, but you know what? I really enjoy this. Gus G, I don't remember if he's Swedish or Danish or what, the guitar player. It's the only album he played on. I saw this tour. The songs from this fit right in with the new stuff. I think he only did Let Me Hear You Scream. But it fits right in. It's a great anthemic song. Ozzy's vocals were not as good as No More Tears here, but you know what? This is a fun record to listen to. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's not a stinker. I had this in my CD player in my 1995 Geo Tracker. I bought this and I kept this in there for weeks. And so this is the tour edition. It came out with a bonus CD, Hand of the Enemy, One More Time, and Jump the Moon. Uh, were the bonus tracks on here, and then live versions of Bark at the Moon, Let Me Hear You Scream, No More Tears, and Fairies Wear Boots. And of course, No More Tears, is my favorite album. The song No More Tears is just epic. It's fantastic, and to hear it done live and done very well, especially with Gus G sort of injecting some new energy onto this. Um, yeah, the CD itself is kind of boring, but the cover is, I'm not going to judge the cover art. It's interesting. But anyway, yeah. So my wild card, and so it's more used to sort of ask you to give the album a chance, check it out, see what you think. I really like it. I don't like it as much as No More Tears or Diary, but this is a very listenable record to me, and I think if you go check it out, you're going to agree that at least half of it is really good, and it's miles above the two that I talked about. And so this is not a wild card, but I would like to mention it only because Ozzy's "Speak of the Devil" album is one of those. He put it out in '82, late '82. He was trying to race to get an album of Sabbath songs out to try and beat Black Sabbath, who at the time, of course, had Ronnie James Dio on vocals and Vinny Appice on drums, and they were getting ready to put a live album out, which ended up being the fantastic Live Evil double record. I bought that box set this year. I should get to reviewing it. Anyway, so Speak of the Devil, people love Brad Gillis. Not everybody loves it. Some people have said it's too 80s, but Ozzy was not trying to recreate Black Sabbath. He was playing Black Sabbath songs. Problem is, Oz had very little interest in the performances. He was wasted. Brad Gillis was in on guitar because Randy had tragically been killed. These were recorded at the Ritz in New York City in September 1982. And the album that came out was a mixture of tracks from the two nights it was recorded. And then you start finding out there were cheats. Like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is on the Speak of the Devil album, or Talk of the Devil in the UK. They didn't play that song live. It was they did it at sound check, which Ozzy didn't even show up to the sound checks. The band just kind of had to noodle through things. And Ozzy recorded his vocals for that in the studio, as he did every song on the album. Went and re-recorded vocals in the studio. So to me, that's not a live album. It's like Frank Zappa, who I talked about in other videos. Frank used to make albums. He would do songs live and then overdub them in the studio, but he told you about it. Ozzy tried to pass off Speak of the Devil as a live album, and it worked for years and years, and some people still don't care. I care. So what did I do? Because I'm ridiculous as far as collecting. I hunted down the soundboard recordings. So this is the Speak of the Devil, the complete, how's it called? Ritz 1982 Complete. These are the soundboard untouched recordings. Now, Ozzy's vocals ranged from pretty good to, but you know what? I will take this any day. And it's the same track listing on both. There's a recorded intro, Symptom of the Universe, Snowblind, Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, War Pigs, The Wizard, NIB, Sweet Leaf, Never Say Die, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. Now, Brad Gillis, who would later go on to Night Ranger, is on guitar. The great Rudy Sarzo, who was part of Quiet Riot and then would be again on bass. And the iconic, one of the great go-to guys in rock and roll drumming, Tommy Aldrich on drums. I will take this any day. And there are very noticeable differences between the two shows. I don't remember which one. On Symptom of the Universe, Ozzy couldn't even come close to hitting the high notes anymore. Tried, his voice was squeaky. But you know what? This is a real live album. This is what the audience heard that night. Butch Jones from the Butcher Shop on Facebook, if you look him up, he's been involved in the music industry for years and years too. Butch is one of his guitar heroes is Brad Gillis. He said that these Carol Channing subbed for Ozzy on vocals on this. I don't think it's that bad. It's not that great, but I since learning that, have never listened to Speak of the Devil again, and I probably never will. If I want to hear those performances, I go here. So this is not my wild card. This is just kind of promoting the fact that a live album should be a live album with minimal to no overdubs. Kiss, uh, uh, live albums. Um, Here you go, though. If it costs a little bit and it's not very well known, it's on YouTube. It's out there. Go check this one out. Just so you can hear what it really sounded like. So anywho, there are my top two, bottom two, wildcard, and pontification about live albums. And I hope everybody's doing well. There goes the paper. I guess I haven't had enough coffee for the day. So let me know what you think. Let me know your top two, bottom two, wildcard. What do you guys think? I love talking about music with you, so uh, I look forward to the discussion in the comments underneath. Take care of yourselves, everybody.